sight, but there we are. I'm sorry we've had to sort of do the media game first before we could come and say hi and speak to you, but obviously that's going to get out to lots of people across the southwest today, so that's why we've been speaking to them, and it's brilliant that they've come, and that's because of your work putting this out and making publicity for this. So, 11th of March, I was at Oldbury on Fukushima Day, commemorating the victims of Fukushima. Now I'm here at Hinkley, trying to stop this hideous development of another nuclear generator here. It's just so much a disaster, it's so much part of yesterday's world. And in every other country following Fukushima, there's a big public debate, is that the way we want our energy policy to go? And the conclusion was no, it's far too dangerous, it's far too risky, we're going to take a better route, we're going to go for safe, clean, renewable generation. But here in Britain that debate hasn't been had. Instead we've had these sort of monstrosities foisted on us. Decisions taken in Westminster telling us that we're going to have these power stations in the southwest. We will take the pollution from that, we will suffer the health effects of that. The money will go elsewhere. In fact, in this case it'll go to a French company and some Chinese financiers, while the crap that comes out of these stations stays with us. This is totally outrageous and we must not let it happen. Before I became an economist, which I am now, I actually worked opposing nuclear power for about 10 years, and it's an issue that's really close to my heart. And to be honest, the reason I moved on from doing that is because it was much more cheerful being an economist than it was opposing nuclear, and you know what I mean by that. Not only because of the political blocks and the sort of vested interests that are there, but also because of the lies and the secrecy, and most damaging of all, the appalling levels of death and destruction that are caused by the nuclear industry across the world. I think people think about the catastrophic disasters like the one we saw at Fukushima, but actually every day these stations are operating, they're putting out radioactive pollutions that are damaging every single cell in your body, or potentially damaging every single cell in your body. They lie about the cancers that are caused by these power stations. There's all sorts of cover-up and lie that goes on, because if people knew the true health consequences, these power stations would be closed instantly. That's what I found through 10 years of campaigning on the health effects, and that message still needs to get out to the public. On the 3rd anniversary of the Fukushima disaster, it was announced that 33 children had actually developed thyroid cancer as a consequence of the emissions. But what was said about that was, oh, that's nothing to do with the power station, that's about the anxiety of their mothers, which by some miraculous and unexplained route has caused their children to have cancer. Or possibly it's actually as a result of their own anxiety, or possibly it's a result of better monitoring. So somehow, if you didn't live in Fukushima, your child would get thyroid cancer and you wouldn't notice. I mean, that's the logical endpoint of that argument. That argument was made on the BBC website, that this is a result of better monitoring. It's completely impossible. It's a kind of nuclear story that is just accepted, and it allows this to continue. We must put out the truth that nuclear kills, and we must not have it here in the southwest. Let's just look across Europe and see what people are doing in other countries. I mean, it's so inspiring. If you're not watching what's happening in Germany with their transition to a renewable future, then you really should be, because although it's depressing here in this country with this government and its fossil fuels and its dinosaur politicians and its commitment to fracking and to nuclear, if you look across the North Sea and see what they're doing in Germany, they've decided they're not going to have any more nuclear, and they're moving rapidly towards renewables. And a lot of those renewables are owned by local communities, by public authorities. They've got public investment in a safe, clean electricity future, and that's exactly what we should have in this country. Even the enormous amount of public money that's going to be invested in this plant through us